Today, we're going to talk about Rose Melo, that combination. Jeff Hornacek as our coach, how do we feel where he stands? We're also going to talk a little bit about Phil Jackson, his third year as a GM. Is he qualified to be a GM? Are we happy with him? We're also going to touch on some subjects that people have opinions about, but we're not going to get into right now. All that in the Knicks. Derrick Rose, can he become that elite point guard again? I believe he can. Reason? From what I seen last year, the second half of the season, when he wasn't thinking about that knee just going to the hole, that first step, that explosiveness, that's the key. Now, in the first half of the season, you can see Derrick Rose was thinking about things. In a game of basketball, when every second counts, when you have to think, that fraction of a second gives the defensive player time to catch you. But the second half of the year, he wasn't thinking about that. Remember, he was Westbrook before Westbrook. And if he can get that back in his head, that he can do it, and if he can believe it, we got something. If Melo can continue to grow as he's been doing the last 3 years on the field, you got something real special there. If Melo can continue to grow as a basketball player, or all-around player, when I say all-around player, I mean somebody who does all the fundamental things that he didn't do when he first came here, or at least we didn't notice that he did it. Talking about rebounds, the defense, doing the little intangible things. Even that little swat that he got when the player goes to the basket, he kind of has a timing on it where he does get a piece of the ball, the block shot. If he can continue to do this, he can continue to be that type of player, and along with Derrick Rose finding himself and being more confident and knowing that he can be what he used to be, that MVP, Knicks is going to be a problem, man. I mean a real problem. Watch. Phil Jackson. I'm happy with him. I'm in Phil I trust. But not everybody's in my boat. Got guys kind of like, don't want to call him by name. We'll get to him later. But you had people saying, Phil can't do this. Phil is a coach. Phil has never done this before. But let's just look over the reasons why I think he's going to be a good GM. He won 6 championships in Chicago. Yes, he did have Michael Jordan, but so did Doug Collins. He won 5 in LA. Yes, he had Kobe, but so did the coach before him. He never won a championship with him. When Phil won them first 2 championships, he had clout. He had the green light to do what he wanted to do. When he won 6 championships in 7 years. Come on, when he went to LA, when he sat down with LA's management, LA wasn't telling him, oh, we gonna hire you, but. There wasn't no buts about it. The only buts was Phil saying, but I want him, but I don't want him. That's the only buts that was being said. You got people saying this that used to be beat writers that's now on TV. Nobody told them that they couldn't be on TV. So why can't Phil go from coaching to being a GM? Now let's look at what he had to do coming into the Knicks. Things that people don't tell you. That he basically had to change the whole culture. Not just wins and losses. That's easy. Anybody can do that. Phil had to change the whole culture. Now remember, Phil has connections. Phil has a reason to want to do this. If he's not doing it just for himself, believe me, he's doing it for Red Holzman. He's trying to bring this winning atmosphere back. And once Phil does do this, I want to hear from all of y'all, I'm sorry. Let's wait and see. Give the Knicks 25 games. If the Knicks is not successful after 25 games, I'll find something to do to make all of y'all happy. I promise. I spoke about a beat writer. You know, going from a beat writer to being on TV. You know, that just ain't me to just leave something unclear or unsaid. Not where I'm from. I'm talking about Stephen A. Now, Stephen, I remember when you used to write for the Daily News. ESPN called you to do your show. Matter of fact, I even congratulated you. Nobody ever told you that you couldn't do it. Everybody just shook your hand and congratulated you. So why are you hating on Phil? Who are you to say he can't be a GM? He's just a great coach. Nobody ever said you was just a great sports writer. Nobody told you you couldn't go on ESPN, did they? Why Phil got to stay in this coaching box? Why you didn't stay in your beat writing box? I don't know either. Let's give him a chance. Give him a chance to fail. We gave you a chance to fail. You've done it numerous times, but they brought you back. Then you try to talk about basketball like you know it. You don't really know this game like you think you know it. I mean, you know it as a New Yorker, but you ain't never played this game. Not like you say you played it. You ain't never been out there. Ain't nobody ever call you and tell you, yo, we got another 5. We got a new 5 out there they want to play. That wasn't you. You was the one going to get the 5 that was going to play. You was the one sitting on the sideline watching this thing go on. It's about you. It's about you knocking Phil. I'm going to be Phil's voice right now. All your stuff comes from what you hear from people, your sources. I don't think you can look at a game and tell me who's the best player on the court. Unless he's flashy. But flash don't always mean the best. You know that. You've been told that. Now, Stephen A. Smith. His initials spell out SAS. Maybe Stephen A. is your stage name. Maybe your real name is Anthony Stephen Smith. And you just didn't want to go with them initials because you know. You put it together. You tell me. Do I think that's what you are? At times. I'm trying to call you out your name, but sometimes you just say some stupid shit. Now I'm gonna tell you what really pushed me over the edge with you, Stephen. Sean Taylor thing. You remember that. How you called him out, said that he was a gangbanger, and then came to find out that wasn't the case. Never heard you apologize to his family. You changed. And you know what I mean when I say you changed. You don't know this game. You really don't. I said it. I meant it.